The Golden Era. Sir Siddiq Abubakar III. 50 years on the throne. The Sultans of Sokoto. Part 6. 1938-1988. Some rulers reign for years. A few reign for decades. But once in a generation, history produces a leader who becomes larger than his own time. In Sokoto, that man was Sir Siddiq Abubakar III. For 50 years, he sat upon the throne and watched Nigeria change forever. In 1938, under the shadow of British colonial rule, Siddiq Abubakar III ascended the throne of Sokoto. The world was changing. Empires still ruled Africa. Colonial flags still flew above government buildings. Yet few could have imagined that this young sultan would become the longest reigning ruler in the history of the sultanate. A reign not of years, but of generations. Then came 1960. The British Empire stepped aside, and Nigeria became independent. For millions across northern Nigeria, the Sultan remained a symbol of continuity during an age of uncertainty. Alongside Ahmadu Bello, the Sardauna of Sokoto, he stood as one of the North's most respected figures. One represented political leadership, the other represented spiritual authority. Together, they helped guide a region entering an entirely new era.
But independence did not bring peace. The 1960s plunged Nigeria into turmoil. Coups shook the nation. Then came the Nigerian Civil War. From 1967 to 1970, the country bled. Communities were divided, families were torn apart. In those difficult years, the Sultan's voice became a source of stability. A voice calling for unity, for restraint, for faith amid uncertainty. Governments rose and fell. Generals seized power, then lost it. New leaders appeared, only to disappear again. Yet through every upheaval, the Sultan remained. Gowon, Murtala, Obasanjo, Shagari, Buhari, Babangida. Administrations changed. The throne endured. For many Nigerians, Siddiq Abubakar III had become more than a ruler. He had become an institution. In 1988, Sokoto celebrated a remarkable milestone. 50 years on the throne. Half a century of leadership. Half a century of continuity.
Across northern Nigeria, celebrations echoed from city to city. Songs were sung, prayers were offered, and a grateful generation honored a man who had guided them through colonialism, independence, war, and change. Then, on November 1st, 1988, the great Sultan passed away. An era ended, a chapter closed, and across the north, one question lingered in the Harmattan wind. Who could possibly follow a man who had become a living monument? Because the throne remained, but giants do not leave small shadows. Sir Siddiq Abubakar III, 1903-1988, Sultan of Sokoto,